going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. Going to a few local shows this week, hopefully, if I have the time to. But the big important thing is that I'm doing count 'em, five album reviews. Got the Silverstein record early, as you can tell right here. That will be going up today as well as the one we're doing right now, the Gospel Youth. I know it looks kind of funky because of the thing, but we have those two, as well as Picturesque is coming out this week, so I hope to do that one as well, along with Dayseeker and our buddies in Fox Vibes. That interview will be out shortly, but his album is coming out this Friday as well. So 5 album reviews, which is kind of crazy. So come back to the channel, check out those. If you enjoy that, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like as well. It really does go a long way. Thank you for your support. We're really approaching 500. I probably will do a Q&A once we get to 500 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please do so. But without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about the Gospel Youth's new record, Always Lose. So I want to give a shout out to my buddy Chris from My Lonely Heart. He was the one who recommended I check out this band. I caught a few songs. Obviously, Warped Tour is probably not the best place to catch bands all the time, especially if, you know, there's a lot of bands you want to see, which we did see a lot. There will be a show thoughts about that coming up pretty soon as well. I hope to have that edited and maybe out this week as well. But basically, I went to go check them out. I knew that they were releasing an album, so I figured I'd go take a look at their tent, and they actually had the album early, like I mentioned. I know this is going to look really shitty, but pretty much like this. You know, they had their CD there. I was super pumped that they had it early, like I mentioned. So I wanted to get a review out prior to the release date, along with the Silverstein record and stuff like that. So those will be out today, hopefully. But I really enjoyed their sort of flair to what they do. They have pop rock, a little bit of alternative rock, a little bit of pop punk in there. They definitely remind me of, like, vocally, they remind me a lot of, like, old school Fall Out Boy, like From Under the Cork Tree kind of era of Patrick Stump. But I'll get into the songs, give you my thoughts on them, and then I'm going to give some pros and cons about the record, and then I'm going to give an overall rating. So definitely check back with that later if you do want to know about that. But we're going to go in depth with all the tracks, and let's get started on the first one. So this one is called I Will Deliver You to the Fireflies. It has this cool sort of piano vocal combo at the beginning. Vocals have this great sort of cadence to them, which I appreciate. Like I mentioned prior to this, it has a very strong Patrick Stump influence in his singing. You can definitely tell that. At least that's what I could pick out from it. The first verse has a very Mayday Parade-esque feel to it. I feel like they definitely have that sort of Mayday Parade sort of vibe to them as well. So if you do enjoy that, I feel like this band will be kind of right up your alley in terms of that. I also feel like the focal point in this track were kind of the vocals and the piano parts. You can definitely tell that they were stressed a little bit more than maybe the guitars, maybe the drums and the bass. I feel like they kind of take a back seat to those parts, but I definitely feel like they kind of make up for it in the chorus. It has this sort of huge anthematic feel to it, and it sounds really awesome. I definitely feel like it's a great opener, and I definitely feel like it gives the listener, like you and I, an idea of what they'll sound like, and you know how their new album will kind of play out. So we'll move it into the second track, which is Gin and Black Coffee. This one is one of my favorites. I'm really loving the vocals and the instrumentals. Again, has that really high energy sort of feel to it, and almost has that sort of pop punk-esque feeling to it as well. The vocals have this very old school sort of Fall Out Boy, Mayday Parade, a little bit pop punk feel to them, and then the groove kind of has that sort of 2000s like alternative, like very reminiscent of like old school Paramore, that sort of stuff. Maybe like, I wouldn't say closer to Riot, maybe All We Know Is Falling, or I guess that kind of is, and maybe like Brand New Eyes in that sort of realm. But I really enjoy that. That's something that just I hold true, and I love. Even as I get older, I do still enjoy that. Really liking the sort of layered vocals in the chorus as well. I think that's a really solid look too. Liking the sort of switch up in the bridge. I think the vocals were so cool in it. Once you get to listen to it, I definitely feel like you'll find that sort of interesting as well. Um, Again, you can tell that sort of Patrick Stump influence as well, just in the way he sings and how he goes about the runs and just his vocal presence. I feel like it's very influenced by Fall Out Boy, so I do like that, and I also feel like it sounds awesome because it leads into the next track, track number 3, which is called Wildfire. This one is another one of my favorites as well. This one definitely has more, I would say, more soft, more tender sort of vocals, and it definitely pairs well with the clean guitars, which is awesome. I definitely feel like it picks up at around the minute-ish mark, the change-up was definitely kind of interesting. I like that they're keeping the track sort of fresh and like different in that regard, which is really awesome. I also feel like the chorus is super catchy. It definitely feels like one of those tracks that you'll sing along to. At least in my opinion, I sung along to them, even though I'm just listening to it. I feel like it's got that infectiousness to it, and it's definitely got just this catchiness to it that I really can't get over. Definitely has those sort of happier, sort of fun vibes to it, and it definitely has that sort of old nostalgic feel to it as well, which is always great. And I definitely feel like it's extremely well written, and the hooks just kind of pull you in. Like I was saying, the chorus just has that sort of hook that really gets you. So to me, really enjoyed that. So we're gonna move it into track number 4, which is Tired Eyes and Heavy Hearts. This one is another one of my favorites. The intro and the sort of chorus reminds me of 30 Seconds to Mars, Kings and Queens. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you who listen to this style of music maybe grew up with 30 Seconds to Mars. If you haven't, what are you doing? Gotta check the first 2 albums out. Those are my favorites. Excited for the new record from them to come out hopefully soon. But getting back to the Gospel Youth, really enjoying the chorus as well. I really think they have really constructed the choruses very well. They're very memorable, they're very catchy, and something that, to me, as somebody who maybe not is sitting down at the computer all the time listening to the records, but like maybe on the road in my car or something like that, listening to it, it just has those sort of things that makes it memorable for me to, as a listener, to listen and go back and be like, yeah, I like that one or whatever. So definitely has those infectiousness to it. I definitely like the layered vocals as well. I feel like it adds this great depth to the track, which is another, I think, a key important thing of why I like this track a lot as well. This one has more of an anthematic feel, like I was mentioning. If you listen to Kings and Queens by 30 Seconds to Mars, it feels very much like that, in that, it just sounds very full. It has those sort of, like, I don't want to sing it, but it definitely has those sort of, like, just anthem, it's just those pumped up feelings. So really enjoy that. The instruments definitely have a lot to play into that sort of overall anthem feel to it. And I really like the great sort of drum solo at the end of this track. I feel like kind of nails it home for me, in my opinion. So we'll move into track number 5. It is Your Love Was a Cancer. This one was released pretty recently. This was prior to me doing a review, or yeah, it was prior to me doing a review. When I wrote this up, they hadn't released it yet, but I would highly recommend checking this one out. Is one of my favorites as well. Again, I keep saying the Patrick Stump thing, but I feel like it's something to point out and something to know. It does has a very old school Fall Out Boy tinge to it, especially vocally. I wouldn't say much more instrumentally. I would say it does have a little bit of influence, but I would say more vocally it has that very Patrick Stump-esque vibe to it, just in terms of tonality is, and like even the runs had that sort of feeling to it. But I really enjoy the vocalist. I think that's why I've kind of really enjoyed this record, is because it has those sort of nostalgic feelings to me, and why I need to listen to it and why I liked it. So good ups on them for that. Really liking the instrumentation as well on this one too. I definitely feel like this one has another really catchy melody, especially in the chorus. Again, it has those sorts of vibes that really get you hooked. Those hooks really get you. So really enjoy that, and then it definitely has that sort of state champ sort of vibe to it as well. I would also consider his vocals to be similar to Derek Discano, or however you pronounce his name. I feel like it also has that similar vibe as well, just in comparison too. So we're moving to track number 6, which is Revelations, or not Revelations, Revolutions. Sorry, I just can't read. But this one definitely is a great follow up to kind of the first track, in my opinion. It has those sort of tender, intimate moments in this track. I definitely feel like the vocals, make this song. It doesn't have that sort of high energy to it, but I definitely feel like he can cover it all in terms of what he does vocally. He can do those really crazy sort of runs, but he can also have those moments where he's very slow and very methodical about how he does his melodies and just runs and lines and things of that nature. So I definitely feel that, I feel like that about the vocalist. Which is great. Also, I feel like at around the 3 minute marks, I feel like the vocals go to that sort of next level. Like I was saying, can really kind of kick it in where he has those parts where he's like kind of more mellow about it, and then later on he can just kind of kick it into gear. So I definitely do appreciate that just from a vocal standpoint. I would say that this one, in my opinion, is not one of my favorites, but I would kind of put it in that realm of tracks that I like to listen to off this record. So we're going to move into track number 7, which is called Moods Like English Weather. This one is one of my favorites as well, and I believe this was the first single that they released, and it really got me hooked immediately. As soon as I saw it up on Rise's page, it really got me going and got me excited for this new record. I obviously wanted to see them, but I feel like that kind of just instilled that sort of feeling to it, because prior to that, I really didn't know too much about them. I know that they had announced that they were doing a tour with I the Mighty, so I figured I the Mighty is one of my favorite bands of all time. So let me check out and see what they sound like, and I really enjoyed it. So it was cool to see that that their progression and like the new stuff that they're doing is kind of different from. I mean, it still has that sort of feeling to them, but I also feel like it has something different as well. So enjoy that. But getting back to the track, it has a sort of classic pop rock, sort of pop punk feeling to it. The chorus is so damn catchy. I can't even tell you. It's just so good. This track definitely has brought the energy totally. If you haven't listened to this one, I recommend that you go listen to that and the other single, Your Love Was a Cancer. They're both awesome sort of singles, and I feel like they kind of give you an idea of how the record will sound in kind of the grand scheme of things. But I definitely feel like the drumming was something that I could pick out when I was listening to it over and over again. It definitely has this great groove to it, and I feel like it kind of brings the whole track together and just gets you, excited for how the continuation of the track will go. And I definitely feel like it's constructed very well, and it really works, and it has some really great hooks in it as well. So we're gonna move into track number 8, which is Kids. I definitely would say that this one has more of a pop influence to it. I could definitely hear this song being on the radio, like on an alternative station. Without a doubt, I feel like this song feels a little bit predictable. The verses didn't offer too much, and I feel like the chorus was kind of the main hitter in terms of that. I feel like the runs at the end are really awesome as well. And I definitely feel like the vocalist has great chops as well. But to me, it just didn't grab me. I would say it's much like, Revolution. I would say that it just didn't pull me. Those two tracks, I would say, just didn't have that sort of oomph that really got me going. I would say that they're not bad. They just don't fit what I'm, looking for in that. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Spirit of Boston. This one is one of my favorite vocal performances off the record. I think the instrumentation is super solid, as well as the chorus being just catchy. I feel like, again, I feel like a broken record saying it, but the just the hooks on this record have been really awesome. I feel like they've been well constructed, well thought out, and so I really enjoy that. And I definitely feel like this is a bit of a slower track off the record. So if you're expecting kind of more of a faster track, I would say that you might want to check out some other ones because this one feels a little bit slow. It almost reminds me a little bit of Grayscale as well. I feel like if they did something together, that would be awesome. But I wouldn't say that this one's my favorite, but I definitely would say that it's not terrible either. So I'd probably put it closer to the favorites because, vocally I really enjoyed this track. But I feel like again it had that just a little, it just needed a little bit extra, and it just didn't have it. So we're gonna move into the last track, which is called Bloodlines. Love Stopped Me from Coming Home. This one is one of my favorites as well. I'm really loving the instrumentals in this track, just in terms of how it's structured, how it's thought out. I feel like it's very great. I think the vocals were super strong in this one. I would definitely say that this one is again one of my favorite vocal performances off the record as well. The chorus is catchy as always. Just the hooks are on point with this album. They just have been really solid, and I like how they just ended the track with just vocals and pianos, or piano. It just adds this sort of just, I don't know. It had this Mayday Parade-esque flair to it. I definitely feel like this last bit of this track was sung with just such emotion and conviction. And I definitely feel like it's a great way to end the record. I would definitely say that, again, one of the more vocally strong performances off the record in general. And so we're going to get into the pros and cons of the record. I feel like in certain songs, like I was mentioning, Revolution and Kids, there was just something that just didn't grab me. And if they did hit me in that right way, I would say that this one would have been one of my favorite records of this year so far. I still think it is one of my favorite records of this year, but I would say it gets knocked down a little bit just in terms of that. But overall, from not hearing about them ever, I feel like they really constructed something awesome, something catchy, something that has just this nostalgic feel to it. It really got me really enjoying it and really listening to it and really kind of savoring it. And I'm excited to see them hopefully do more tours in the US. I definitely feel like they're one of those more interesting bands that have something interesting going for them. They have those sort of interesting vibes in terms of just vocals. I feel like really sets them apart from a lot of other bands that are in this genre, in my opinion. So I would definitely be on the lookout for these guys. I feel like they're going to have a pretty big rest of this year and maybe into the next year as well. So my overall rating for the Gospel Use Always Lose, I'm going to be giving it a 9.3 out of 10. I think it's one that you should definitely go pick up. First week sales always mean a lot to bands, so if you can go out to purchase it, go purchase it on Warped Tour. They're on Warped Tour all summer long, so if it hasn't hit your city yet, I would make it a point to go check out this band. They sound really solid. I was, again, only able to check out a few tracks that they were playing on the Full Sail stage, but I definitely feel like if I had the chance to go back and go listen to them, I would definitely go do so. So definitely go check out these guys. I think they are definitely an awesome signee to Rise and Velocity, and I really enjoyed this record. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this record. Did you like it? Did you didn't like it? Did you pick it up yet? If not, definitely go pick it up this Friday. I think it's going to be a great record, and again, I'm excited for what's going to come next. So if you enjoy what we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to hit that like button as well. If you enjoy us a lot, we have a link in the description to our merch store. If you'd like to pick up something, that'd be much appreciated. I hope to be getting out more sort of designs out really soon. I've been working on stuff over the past month or so, so I'm hoping to get those out really soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Be on the lookout for more ones. Like I said, the new Silverstein one's going to be coming out really soon. As well as a few others. So definitely keep your eyes and ears open for that. And the only way to do so is clicking that little bell on the notifications so you know when you're going to get the latest video. So thank you guys for checking out my review. My name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.